Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Papyrus Plans tribe. So for the fourth week in March, I decided to go with a theme with a trip to Tuscany. I thought that would be kind of cool. And so I created lots of things. I have tons of things to show you. And obviously I won't be able to use all of this, but this isn't a very busy week for me. And then on top of it, it's also not grocery week. So we can kind of have fun and play in our planner this week. All right, so let me show you all of the things. All right, first up, I created these really cool box stickers with terracotta texture. So I have that. So I have tons of boxes, and I also created a custom habit tracker to kind of match that color scheme as well. So I have that. I also created some inspirational quotes, as well as some various different type of watercolor effect themed stickers. So we have different scene stickers, food, icons, etc. As we kind of take a little trip to Tuscany. So I'll show you some of those and what I created. I kind of went a little bit crazy in terms of creating these stickers. I had so much fun creating these Tuscan themed stickers. And so obviously we can't use all of this, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have some various different scenes. Again, since we have a lot more space to kind of play with this week, since I don't have a huge amount going on. So I just created various different scenes and added a few other smaller elements, again, just in case I needed to fill in some space. And I come from a family of foodies, everything from executive chefs to people who could have been. Like my grandmother, who's no longer with us, she definitely could have been a pastry chef. I mean, she could just make these beautifully exquisite and extravagantly complicated pastries from scratch in her head without a recipe. And that is incredibly rare talent. So yeah, definitely a foodie and come from a family of foodies. So those are all of the things I created. So we have to have some food in our spread, especially for a Tuscan spread, because it's about the scenic views, taking time to slow down and just enjoy life, as well as enjoying a good cup of coffee and a great plate of food. So we have that, as well as the box stickers I created. I also have some cut-aparts that my mom gave me, and I'm not sure where she got these from, but she gave these to me, I think, last year, and I haven't had a chance to use them. So I thought maybe I could use maybe like this international airmail icons, cut some of that out, or maybe like one of the postcards and make it look like, hey, I'm sending you a postcard from Italy, something like that. So that might be kind of cute. Again, not sure if I'll use it, but I pulled it because it goes. So we have that as well. And then also, I was going through my stash and I saw this that I got a while ago from Dollar Tree, and I thought this might be kind of fun to add in some greenery. I might layer, some things on top of it. Again, it's kind of large, so I'm not sure if I'll use it, or maybe I just might use, some of the smaller pieces like the floral, or cut some of this off, like I've done in the past. For example, with the cherry blossom spread I did. I might do something like that. Again, just trying to pull some things that I think might go. And then I also randomly found this copper metal tape. Now, this actually is metal, but it's very thin. And I completely forget what I bought this for. But as you can see, I never used it. And so it kind of like fell down in between one of my shelves. And so I never saw it. And as I was kind of cleaning up and I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought this. So we might try to find a way to incorporate this. Again, I'm not sure if I can, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. And I mean, it matches, right? It kind of reminds me of terracotta. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to try to see if I can use this. Again, I don't know if I can, but I don't know. I kind of want to try. So we'll see. Then I thought, since we do have some extra space, it might be kind of cool to kind of do a similar effect that I did in my creative journal for February. I did a Beauty and the Beast theme. And one of the things that I did is I created these really cool windows that look like you're looking into the castle and have different scenes of Belle. So if you want to see that, go ahead and check out my creative journal video for February. Again, that's a Beauty and the Beast theme. But I thought it'd be kind of cool, again, since I have the space, to maybe do something similar, but instead I use this really dark wood pattern here. I thought it might be cool to use this lighter gray pattern, again, to kind of go with the tones, the kind of watercolor tones of the stickers that I created. And these are file folders, and I got these from Walmart. This is from the Pen and Gear collection, and I got this a few years ago, so I'm not sure if they still have this, but I'll do my best to kind of link to something similar on Amazon, because I think the last time I looked on Walmart, I couldn't find this. So again, kind of trying to use up some things in my stash, and I just thought it'd be kind of cool, again, to kind of do something similar, but in my planner. Now, file folder, these are thick. Now, the one thing I like about these is that they do have color on the other side. So you could just use this gray part if you didn't like, you know, the wood pattern, but I'm definitely going to use this. So what I did in that creative journal video was just kind of tear this down the middle. I think I might have used actually I used my trimmer. But since I'm going to be taking one side anyway, it kind of doesn't matter. And I'm thinking I might do one window on the right and one on the left. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. And let me put this back. This is the same arched window die that I used. So I pulled that, and I need to try and see if I can find the same size die that I need to use for this, because originally I thought this was going to cut out the actual window, but what it does is it creates the inset for the window. So then you do need a separate arch die to kind of cut out the outer shape. So that's why I'm getting something else here, and see if I can remember. I think it might be this one. Size up. Let's see, is it this one? Ooh, or did I go? Kind of putting it on my spread to see how big it is. Okay, so it's going to be like that, and then I can have like boxes coming around it, and then have like a scene in the middle. Or do I want to go to a little bit smaller? I think this might be... Okay, this is the exact size of the window, or I can make it a little bit larger and go on the outside. I think that might be a little bit too big. Okay, so I pulled both of them. I think I might go slightly larger. I think I might have did that larger one in my journal, but since this is my planner and I don't want to take up too much space, I think I might just go just slightly outside of it. This is almost like the exact same size, so it would just be this shape. But I kind of want to give myself a little bit of wiggle room to kind of bend the windows. That way they will be functional. So yeah, so I think I'm just going to size down one. I used I think the size above this one in my journal. Okay, so let's put this to the side. I have my Anna Griffin Impress Mini on the side over here, along with my plates. So I'm going to grab my plates and turn this on, and then start creating our stack. Okay, if I remember correctly, I think last time I did the 2 standard A plates, the magnetic plate, and then I added the metal shim. So I think I'm gonna do that again. So, oh, actually now I remember why I cut this down. So I do have the larger Impress, but I don't want to, it's on the shelf, and I don't really move that one. This one I use when I want to move it somewhere else in my art studio. So I can do, I think I kind of want to get some of the grains in here. So I have to do it like that. Okay, so yeah, I think I am going to have to get my trimmer. Let me grab that real quick. And this is my We Are Memory Keepers trimmer. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just basically creating it space so that this will be small enough to go through my Impress Mini. So this is the larger die. So again, I just want to make sure that I have enough space to capture this. And I want to kind of get some of the, at least one of the grains in here. So bring it over this way so that, so I need to cut it just past this line. So I'm going to kind of keep this here so I can kind of see where I need to cut. And then slide it over to match the line here. So about right there, okay. So now I have these 2 strips to work with, which will be plenty because I'm only creating 2 windows. Because in my creative journal, I had to do 4 windows because I wanted them to be windows from the front and the back in my creative journal. Okay, so I should only need this side, and I'm gonna use the smaller side. So yeah, I have plenty of space. Okay, just double checking. Okay, so now let's take our stack. So I have the A plate, and I think I'm starting to get to the point where I might need to buy another set of plates. These are starting to get a little banged up, but it's kind of the nature of it. But let's see. So again, this is magnetic mat, so it just kind of snaps down. So I'm gonna do about right there because I don't want to get too close to this edge because I want to make sure that I have enough room to put this second die on. Now, the first time I did this separately because when I tried to do it together, I just didn't feel like it was a sharp of enough cut, but let's try it and see if I can. Maybe if I run it through an extra time. Then add the middle shim. Okay, so let's press the run button. Then I'm gonna reverse it. And then we're gonna run it through again. And I'm just reversing it now to come back this way. All right, let's see if it cut the 2 layers. It should have with that double run through. Okay, yeah, it did. Okay, great. So on the hardboard, I like to bend it so it kind of pops off of the magnetic plate. And you can keep these little rectangles because they're still usable, but it just pops out that inner window. And then I use, again, the second part of the die to get the actual shape of the outer part of the window. So it looks like that. Okay, so that's why I did it that way, because it wasn't until I used this for the first time I realized that this doesn't actually cut the outside of the window, it just cuts the inset, and then you have to have another arch die to cut the outside. So I'm glad that I actually have a set of nesting arch dies, because these did not come together. I think this should have came with an outside die, but just FYI. All right, so now I just need to do that again. All right, I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have my 2 window frames, and so they're gonna go like this, I think, have them each kind of in the middle of each page. I think that'd be cool. Then I have my reminder that it's Palm Sunday and the 29th, so I wanna make sure I designate that. So I think what I'm gonna do now is just very gently, there's this little score line here, I'm gonna fold it back. In fact, let me get my craft scraper. In fact, I'm gonna get my skinny one. It has this thinner edge that's going to help me to kind of bend this back. So I'm just kind of using my fingers to help create the bend. And kind of following along that starter edge. And then I'm just using my nails to kind of, again, bend it back. And then I'll bend it back this way. Again, you don't have to do this, but it just kind of makes it a little bit easier to be able to bend it. And I just remembered now why I created a larger ledge around this is so that I could have a 1/4 inch for tape. Because that's a really skinny edge. But I think what I might do, I might have to use, I use double-sided tape in my craft journal. I'm going to have to use liquid glue, I think, because I didn't use that larger one. Now I remember why I did that. Because at first I was like, why did I use that big one? But it was to make life easier for me when I wanted to put this down. Okay. You live and you learn. I couldn't remember why I did it, and I was trying to make it, I was thinking, oh, this is my planner, I'll make it smaller so it's not so big, but yeah, I should have just left it use that larger one. That's why I went 2 sizes up, because I think I kept going up until I had about 1/4 of an inch allowance. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay. Well, I'm glad I thought those things through with my creative journal. That's that. Now let's figure out, let's see, maybe the images first, and then after that, I think I'll start adding some function. And then once I have my function, then we can kind of play around and see what kind of space we're working with. So again, kind of same concept. I'm gonna put them kind of more or less in the middle of each page. Or maybe this one, actually, I might put this one on the weekend because I don't need that much space on the weekend. And that way I have all of the function on Thursday and Friday. Because Thursday and Friday tend to be my busiest days. So maybe I'll do that. So just trying to make it where it's more or less equidistant. About right there. Okay, so that's about probably where I would put it. And I could do the edge of this one too. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe have it on the edge. And that way I have 1 full day open on this side and I have 2 full days on this side. Okay, so yeah, I think I might do that. I mean, I have the space to do it in the middle, but I think that might be kind of cool. And then maybe have some scenes continuing on the either side. That might be kind of cool. So then maybe I want to do Friday and Saturday so that I have kind of a similar space over here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, I think that looks kind of cool. All right, now let's figure out what scenes we want to add and whether we want to keep the windows open or closed. Okay, so that could work, but I think that also might be cool to put on either side of the window. So I might save that for the side of the window. So I think I'll put that on the side. This one is pretty tall, so I think this one will work very well. And you can see it open and close. Trying to find ones that have nice height. Like that one's pretty good. It's not quite as tall as this one, but I still think it could work because I only have maybe about 1/2 of an inch at the top. Let's see. This is a tall one too. A window and a window. That's kind of funny. It's like you're looking outside into your neighbor's veranda. That'd be kind of funny. Or, let's see. Do we want to do... Okay, that's the first one. So far I'm leaning toward this one for one of the windows. The church with the bell. I think that's kind of cute. Again, I'm trying to pull the tallest images. Like this cafe or restaurant. That's pretty tall. Ooh, that one works pretty well too. So I think either one of these could work. Those are pretty tall. This one, not so much. And let's see, maybe one of the houses. Let's see if these are tall enough. No, okay. So definitely going to use the church. So I'm going to use this one for one of the windows because that's tall enough. And either this one with the fountain, which I think is kind of cool. So either maybe that side or get in the cypress tree and have the fountain on the right. Or we can do this one. And it has, again, like this scenic view from my veranda, kind of looking out into the countryside, or the restaurant, because that's pretty tall as well. Both of these restaurants are pretty tall. I think I might do that on the side. I kind of want something scenic. So I think I'm kind of leaning toward this one. Yeah, because that's taller than that. Or this one. Ooh, okay. You know, yeah, I think I'm gonna use these two. I think I like these two images the best. This one is definitely tall enough. This one with the building is tall enough. And I think it's really cute, that little fountain in the middle. So I think what I might do... Actually, I just put those dies back, but I was going to say I could cut the arch for myself, and then I could just put it down and put that on top. That's gonna make it easier for me. So I think I'm gonna go back and get my, even though I turned it off, I think I'm gonna get my dies back and put the arch die on top of this. And that way I can just peel up the shape, put it down, and then put glue in the back of this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm actually gonna move this back. So I'm gonna move all of this stuff back over here. And then bring my Impress Mini back in and get my arch dies back. All right, guys, so again, we have our windows and now we have our scenes. So now we can kind of create what we want. So I think I'll put the church on the weekend because church and Sunday. I think that's kind of cute. That kind of goes with Palm Sunday, and actually I didn't plan that, so that's kind of cool. And this one will go over here. So now let's see, how did I want to do it? No, I said I want to do Friday and Saturday. And I think I had them coming down about 1/2 inch, like that. Okay, so I think about right there. This one's a little low, about right here. I'm just trying to mimic that width, okay. And then straighten it out. Okay. So, just so I can remind myself where to put this, I'm gonna put my metal ruler there. Maybe I should get my smaller ruler. Let me get my smaller ruler. Again, just so I remember that I want it about right here. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, but just so I get the overall placement. And again, I'm gonna put it between Friday and Saturday. The width is almost perfect. To fit into 2 boxes. Ooh, it is. Let's see, is that right? Yeah, that's about right. Okay. I was second guessing myself for a minute, but yeah, that's right. Try to get as straight as possible. And again, as you can see, it fits perfectly in those, between those 2 boxes. Now, let's see. I think I'm gonna get my craft bond glue. So I'm gonna use this. This is Elmer's all-purpose strong wet tack glue for a stronger hold for crafting. It is a little bit thick and it takes a little bit of arm muscle to come out, but that's why I'm shaking it. There we go. Okay. I just put this down just in case it tried to bubble out. So I'm gonna put a small bead of glue along this outer edge. And then I'm gonna take my finger and go around it because I don't want a lot of excess glue. So I'm doing a very small amount. And then taking my finger and again, just kind of smudging it along this edge. And I might have to get, you know, like a paper towel to clean up the edge a little bit, but I don't want a bunch of excess glue. So I'm just tapping it down right now, like that. And then let me go get a paper towel so I can wipe off this excess glue, and then I'm gonna get my bone folder and smooth it down. All right, I think I'm gonna just tear a square and wipe my hands and dab off any excess, especially if it's directly on the outside or that inner edge. And now let me get my bone folder and I'm smoothing it all the way down, and then I'll go back in and remove any excess glue. And this is very strong glue, so once this is down, it is down. But I like it because it does dry fairly quickly. Kind of like Elmer's stick glue, but it has a pretty strong, it has a stronger hold, in my opinion. Just trying to, again, remove any excess glue because you don't want a bunch of glue oozing out, which is why I did a very small bead. Okay, now let's make sure that we didn't glue the window down. And again, only if you want to glue it down, you can. I think for now I want to keep it open. So again, I'm just making sure this bends back. And I got the window slightly off center, but you know what? We have this other side, so we can cut it and put it back in, actually. It's a good thing I saved this. I should have opened the window to check it first, and I didn't. But that's okay. We can fake it, which is why I save these, just in case I need to make adjustments. Get my tweezers. I'm just putting back that part that I cut off since I accidentally misaligned this. I meant to open this and I didn't, just so it's not as noticeable. Like I said, thankfully I kept those scraps because you never know if you might need them. I mean, I could add a little bit more here, but I think that's pretty close. I'm just gonna again go around the edge and remove any excess glue, and then I'm gonna take my rubberized adhesive remover and very gently kind of rub around the edges. Again, just so you don't have any excess. Okay, now do I want to add, I might add a little bit more of this wheat field. Just a small little sliver. Again, just kind of mask the fact that I accidentally put it over about 1/8 of an inch. I mean, I could have left it, but I decided to not leave it because it was pretty noticeable, at least to me. So I'm just going to kind of layer this in here. Again, just kind of fill in that gap to give the illusion that there is no gap. Kind of using my tweezers to tuck it underneath. And then I'm gonna get my bone folder and I'm using the tiny little end on it, again, to kind of push it all the way down. Again, that way it looks like I have the whole scene, and I do. And now it's, you can't tell that I accidentally slid this over a little bit too far. Okay. All right, perfect. So now we can have it close. Again, you can have it closed here. So I could glue this down, or you can keep it where you can open it. Kind of like the idea of opening it, but again, it's up to you. Again, since this is in your planner, if this is going to bother you, you could just tack it down in the middle. Or actually, since this is wide enough, I could add 1/4 inch tape down the middle and just kind of see that. And I might do that because that kind of looks cool, like, again, like a window. But if you wanted to be interactive, then you can leave it like that. So I'm gonna kind of push this back into place. And again, the glue is already dry. So that's another reason why I like this. This dries pretty quickly. Now, if you want more workability time, then don't use this. Because wet glue does give you more time than tape runner, for example. But you don't get the same amount of workability as you do with a little bit of a less... with a glue that dries faster, essentially. Is what I'm saying. Okay, so now, again, we're basically taking up 2 boxes. And I want to, again, come down more or less the same distance I did with that one. Get my ruler. Let's see. Oh, that's funny. I did almost exactly 2 inches. I didn't do that on purpose. But again, just so I can kind of more or less know where to come. So it's about right there. And then again, put my ruler down. Just so I more or less have a mark of where to be. Okay, and as you can see, again, fits perfectly in those two boxes. Okay, so we have that one down. Let's get rid of this. And this time, let's open the window so I can see where I'm putting it. Okay, there's a... Okay, maybe I should have did the outer edge. There is a very minor gap. Okay, so maybe I should fix that now to make it easier for me, since I have this strip. So I'm gonna cut about 1/4 of an inch, even though I only need about 1/8 of an inch, again, just to make life a little bit easier for me. And then the wood should hide the rest of it. So thankfully I saved these scraps. So I'm just gonna join it up. And this is easier since I'm doing it on the front end versus the other end, like that one. And then just get my bone folder and smooth it down. There we go. Again, I don't know if I'll need these little extra little pieces, but in case I feel like I need filler space, I'll keep them. Okay, so let's do another dry fit. Yep, that's perfect. Okay. All right, so now, same thing as before, add glue. All right, everyone, so we have the second window done, and that's what it's looking like. I'm really loving the way that this turned out. Again, I'm trying to decide if I want to add any sky in this. Let's see, let's look through some of my inks and see what I have. Or maybe I'll use some of my watercolors, although that might be a little risky. Maybe I shouldn't. I think maybe I'll use some of my oxide inks. I think I have a blue. Here we go. I have that blue and the other blue is darker, so I think I'll use this blue. I also have some distress crayons. This is a lighter blue. Could use that. You just kind of turn the bottom upward. I feel like that's a little dark. I think it's going to be a little bit easier to blend. So I'm just going to take my finger and smudge that. These are water reactive, so basically use them and then you add water to it with this. So I'm just going to spritz it very lightly, just kind of blend that out a little bit. And again, usually I don't use my fingers, but I am because I just want to blend it out. Okay, I was a little bit more heavy-handed than I intended to be, but I think we can make it work. Spritz it with water, and then I'm going to take paper towel and just kind of dab it. Just to kind of blend it out slightly. And I'm going to take, let's see. This is a white metallic marker. I'm going to shake it and then kind of blend it out a little bit. And I like to use, let me get some scrap paper. I like to use scrap paper first because sometimes it can kind of take a little bit to start. There we go. You have to kind of shake it quite a bit. And I'm trying to be careful because this is planner paper. So I'm kind of using this to kind of rub on top. And as you can see, it's going to rub away some of the sticker paper. So I'm using light pressure. As it colors in some of the metallic. I'm trying to put the bulk of this on the sticker paper so that it hopefully doesn't rip the other side. And thankfully the other side is my current lace, so if I have to, I can cover that up entirely. So I'm not too concerned about that. And then another trick I'm going to do is take some of my liquid whiteout and definitely use this on a tester page because this kind of globs. And I'm going to come in and squeeze it hard and add a bunch of blobs so that it kind of mimics clouds in the sky. And again, just kind of get rid of that dark blue and then use my hand and kind of smudge it where I want to blend it out. So I'm kind of using it like paint even though it isn't. And it's going to also disguise the line of the sticker paper. So you can actually make cloud shapes like that and leave it, or you can blend them out. So I'm going to make a little bit of a cloud shape here, again, so that line isn't quite as stark. And then blend it out. And I think I'll do the same over here where this line is. Again, make a little cloud shape and then blend it out with my finger. Okay, I don't need to do that as much over here, but again, to kind of disguise the shape of the sticker paper, I'm just going to use this to blend out like I would with a paint pen. Okay, like that. And I'll zoom in so you can really see the effect that I created, because I know sometimes on camera it's hard to see details. So as you can see, I just kind of used that correction pen as a way to kind of paint. And I did that because it gives me control and it dries pretty quickly. But on this side, you can see it's like a darker blue sky, but I also kind of blended it in, again, so that it kind of takes away the extreme effect of the distress oxide. Okay, now once this dries, if I want to come back in and add a little bit more blue, which I think I might do, I'll do that on this side, just so it kind of mimics this side a little bit more. So I'm going to go wash my hands and then I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I'm back. I had to scrub my hands for like 5 minutes straight. I had that liquid correction tape all over my gel manicure, all over my fingers. Yeah, that took a little while. Okay, now let's go back in with a little bit more of this. And again, I'm just kind of lightly pouncing it just to kind of make it slightly darker. And again, I don't want to overdo it, but just kind of mimic the other side a little bit more. Okay, so again, this side has a little bit of bleed through, but again, thankfully this is my currently page, and lately I've been covering stuff up anyway, so I think that'll be okay. All right, so we have the two scenes completely done. I think that looks really cool. I mean, it was a lot of effort, but I mean, sometimes it's okay to do a little extra in your planner. All right, so the only thing I need boxes this week. Let's see. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week, and then task boxes throughout. So let me go ahead and with some of my function first so that I don't forget. And again, I'm using these kind of terracotta boxes that I created, which I think are kind of cool. So I think maybe I'll put a box directly over the frame here. Or maybe I do this one like right here on Tuesday. And then maybe this one down here for Wednesday. I wonder if I can... Ooh, yeah, that glue is down. Okay, I'm just gonna go around this little corner here, around the frame. So it looks like the box is underneath it, even though it's not. Because that Elmer's is strong. Like I said, that Craft Bond glue is very strong. So when it's down, it's down. It's like Xyron. There is no wiggle room once it finishes drying. You know what I mean? Like it's down. Okay. Now let's do maybe the box up here for Monday. All right, now I just need task boxes throughout. So I think I'll do, let's see, maybe a larger box here as my weekend box. And white out this bottom line as well. And let me get my Palm Sunday sticker out of my functional sticker binder. And actually, maybe I'll put this in a box. That might be kind of cute. See, it's a little bit wide, so let me trim it down a little bit so it'll fit. And trim the top a little bit as well. Again, just to make sure to fit in the box. I think I'm gonna use one of these square boxes and put that up here. And, oh, wait, I meant to turn it the other way. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait, you know what? Maybe I can just cut the bottom of this off. But will the top fit? Ooh, it's a little snug. Okay, let me see if I can turn this. I meant to turn it the other way and I forgot. Since I just put it down, I'm hoping that I can lift it. Ooh, yes. Thank you. Okay. Let's do this way and try to make it equidistant in the box. Okay, about right there. And then I can keep it like this and just kind of fit it inside. Ooh, that fits perfect. Okay, I'm glad I turned that. Okay, that looks good. All right, now let's get, see, maybe another box this way going on Thursday and Friday. I'm just gonna white out this line going through the middle of the box. And just scrape off this excess white out. Okay, now I've got to have at least one larger box on this side, so I think I'll put, oh, my habit tracker too, almost forgot. So let's add in the habit tracker before I forget. And I might put something at the bottom here, so maybe I should do that first so I can know where to position my habit tracker. See if I have like a building that's maybe, let's see. Actually, I'm gonna put this back. And put this back. And come back over here. Where's that one building? Oh, there it is. This one. Or maybe I put it over here. Huh. Actually, I'm not feeling this now. I think I want to get one of the other buildings. We got this market. I think that'll fit down here. Except for this top part, I can cut that, but I can trim that. I think that's kind of cool. So I think I'm gonna do that. Like that. And then bring it up to the window and then just trim it. And I'm kind of eyeballing it. Let's see. And then on the side of the window. Okay, like that. And again, I'll keep this in case I need to fill in somewhere. And then just trim off the bottom. Okay, now let's come in with our habit tracker. Cover up that note section. Just put that right there. And then maybe find something to put on top of that. Could just put the rest of this building. Or do I want something taller? Maybe I want something taller. I mean, since I have the space. Let's see. See if I have a tall, skinny building. Or maybe I just use like some icons. I might just do that. Oh, I can use this. I've got an olive tree and then a little cypress tree with a house in the background. I think I'll use this one. So I'm just gonna cut the bottom flush so I can lay it on top of the habit tracker and just cut off some of the offset on that side so that it fits all the way. And I'm just gonna bring it all the way over. Actually, I'm gonna bring it right up against the window and then use my bone folder to kind of tuck it around the window like that. Ooh, that looks cute. Like that. Okay, that's looking good. All right, now we can add in our other box down here. And this will be my Tuesday, Wednesday box. Maybe even bring it directly underneath the window. And just smooth that down. And I think I'm gonna add maybe a square box right here. And I think I'm gonna turn it this way to kind of mimic this one right here. So maybe just put it on this line here, and again, kind of up against the window. And again, I'm gonna get my bone folder just to kind of make sure that edge is fully down next to it. Okay. And I think I'll do the same thing over here. Kind of put this down a little crooked and see if I can lift this edge up. Try to be very careful because this is the side where the paper is a little bit tender from getting wet. So just kind of make sure I angle it properly so it's up against the window but not on top of the window. There we go. And then again, take my bone folder and kind of make sure that edge is fully down. And I kind of want to do the same thing over here. And then I think I'm going to put some things on top. So this is kind of acting almost like a shelf. Okay, that looks good. I have just one more small box, so I think I'll go ahead and use it. I think I'll put it right here. Kind of fills in that area there, and I still have space to put something underneath it. Okay, so used all but 2 boxes. Okay, so let's put that up. And let's come back in with some quotes and additional decoration. So I think I'm gonna fill in the areas here with different buildings. I think that'd be kind of cool. To maybe create different scenes around the city. So we have a fountain over here, so maybe put a fountain on this side. I have this one over here that I created. I think that could go right here. So again, I'm gonna cut this flush and trim off some of this offset. So I can bring it all the way down and over. Like that. And again, see if I can, actually I might have to cut around this like I did on the other side. So I'm just following that edge and then get my tweezers and lift it up. There we go. And will this, oh, I think that fit perfectly, so I don't have to cut that. So I just need to cut the right-hand side. Ooh, I like that. I love that fountain. Okay, I think that looks really cool. Okay, so let's add some more scenes of things. I think maybe down at the bottom here, and then maybe add some smaller elements kind of stacked on top of those other boxes. Like, let's see, like this one here with the fence, I think would be good here, and then I can cut it and then put the rest of it on this side. And then punch it out. So let me cut this flush. And bring it all the way down against this box. And then put the rest of it on this side. See if I can get this straight. And use my craft knife to kind of tuck that little edge underneath the window. There we go. And let me get my planter punch and punch out the 2 holes on either side. Actually, let me cut this first before I forget. Okay. So we got that punched, and then we have this side punched. And that's kind of like a continued scene. So again, just kind of fill in these areas here, and maybe even add some small areas at the bottom here. Okay. So we've got, maybe put this barrel over here with the grapes. And cut the bottom flush so I can kind of layer it directly on top of this. Ooh, that fits perfectly. Right there. And then, let's see, I'm gonna add the coffee somewhere. That'll fit perfectly right here. On Tuesday. And then let's find something right here. Something's gonna be something small. So maybe like the basket of tomatoes or the pasta. Let's go with the pasta. Just kind of cutting off some of the offset and then making the bottom flush. And I'm gonna trim the top of this underneath this box. Excuse my head. Need to kind of bend down so I can see this angle. There we go. That way it's not going into the box and it's still functional. And yet I still see the pasta. Okay, now something over here. I think I'll put the basket of tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Hopefully this will fit over here. Okay, it goes over it slightly. Again, I'm gonna see if I can, I'm just gonna freehand this one because it's really small. There we go. Okay, so we got the olive tree, so maybe I'll put some olive oil on this side. I'm gonna trim off, again, some of the offset just so I can fit it in that space. And again, I think I'm gonna trim off this tiny little bit that goes over the box. There we go. Ooh, okay, that looks good. Like that. Let's see. I think I might add this little corkscrew over here because I think it'll fit and it's really small. And look at the bottom flush. Just so I can lay it directly on top of this. Like that. It kind of fills in that little awkward space over there. Okay, now I think I'm gonna go in with some quotes before I add anything else. And I thought I was gonna add a postcard. I mean, I might add an edge of one over here, maybe, but these are a little bit big. I wish they were a little bit smaller. Or maybe one of these. These are smaller. I might do that, but we'll see. So maybe I'll keep this on the side here. So I have these quotes. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. Just over here, building a life I don't need a vacation from. And I think that'll fit right here if I cut off some of the offset. I'm just gonna cut it flush on this edge and on this edge, and hopefully that'll make it fit. Hopefully. If not, I might put this somewhere else, because I think it also could fit here too. It was a little snug. Okay, maybe I'll put it here. That way I don't have to worry about it being too tight of a squeeze. Like that. That kind of goes with the weekend too. Okay. So maybe something over here, but it needs to be a vertical quote. Purpose fuels passion. I think that fits. Or do more of what makes you happy. I like that. Let's put that there. And then something right here. And maybe something here. Or maybe I'll put a quote here and see if I can find something tall and skinny to put on this side. Right here, kind of like it's sitting on this part, but not going into the scene. Let's see what that would look like. Do I have something small? Or maybe I just continue this little piece of the building that I cut off of that other one. Oh, that might work. I'm gonna cut it down here so I can lower it. So it looks like it's popping up underneath the box. like that. And then let's see if I can lift this edge of this box so I can just kind of tuck it underneath. That way it gives that a little bit more height. Okay, I think that works a little bit better. And let's see. Happiness looks gorgeous on you. I think that'd be cute if I cut that apart. So then we can do happiness here. Looks put gorgeous all the way over there. And then on you, directly underneath it, or maybe like this. I'm just getting my bone folder and kind of smooth it down. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, that works. Okay, I had to cut that apart, but I think that was worth it. I think it looks good. I think this looks a little bit empty to me, but I'm not sure what else I could add there. I mean, maybe... Nah, I was going to say maybe part of a building, but I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Okay, now the only other thing that I think I might want to do... I don't think I'm going to use any of these postcards. I think they're too big. Let's see, do I want to come in with any of this? And not really. I just don't feel like it goes with the vibe. Maybe I'll dress up the top of this and add in some date stickers. Because I found these in one of my old Happy Planner. Oh, I got to use a sticker from my OG Happy Planner book. Oh my God. Yeah, I knew this was looking too perfect. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, hold on. What am I going to use from this? Okay. I was going to say, and this is another one of my old books. Actually, I could use the numbers from this. I think that would count because this book is pretty old too. Like these are gigantic and I never have a chance to use them, but I saw Estella plan. She used these and just kind of covered up these ones on top because they're so big. So I might do that if I have the space, just so I can use that up. If I do that, then I would be using up a whole bunch of those, but let me see if there's anything in this I could use. Because I think that would still count, because like I said, that book it's very old. Like this is the OG Happy Planner memory keeping book. You know what I mean? Like that's how old it is. I think that was the very first memory keeping sticker book they made. So I think that would work. Let's see, is there anything from here? Oh, I could use this. Such a great day. I mean, I don't know if it will be, but it could be. Haha. All right. We use one sticker. Whew. Boy, that was dicey. All right. Now let's see. Do we want to add numbers here at the top? Because again, I'm trying to use up some of these old stickers. And I have loads of pages of these. Because they gave us quite a bit in this original book. These are trying to pop off. Let me put this back. Okay. So I think I have all the numbers. Yeah, I do. Just want to see how tall they are because they're quite tall. So I don't know if I can make this work. Because I might have to cover up the days of the week. Oh, these are huge. This is why I never use them. I don't know. How could I make that work? Yeah, I think Estella plans. I think she brought hers down. So I'd have to bring everything down, redate it. Ooh. Yeah. I'm glad we used that sticker. This is like a no. I mean, I want to try to use these, but let me know if you have any ideas, guys, on what to use these gigantic stickers on. Like, I've had these so long, and as you can see, I've used maybe them once or twice, like a few here. And I think I mainly used these when I did my, what did I do? What do you call it? Christmas planner. What is it called? I can't think of the word. I've barely used these. I don't know what to do with them, to be honest with you. I really have no clue how to use these. So if you know how to use these, and I don't know what they were thinking. Like whoever on staff made these this big. Like these came out, you know, when they had their, you know, very first sticker book. So someone just made these too big. I mean, it doesn't even fit the top of this. You know what I mean? So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, I'm trying to dig into some of my older stickers and try to use them up. So yeah, that's a no. Okay, the only other thing we could do is just use some stickers from here and change the days of the week. But since I'm not changing the numbers, maybe I just leave it alone. So maybe not. Mark that to kind of see if I want it to do that. I don't think I do. Sometimes I like to put little icons here, but actually I think the emptiness up here, I think it kind of works. And I think because the rest of this is so busy, I actually kind of like that that's not busy. So I might leave that alone. So let's clean up and then take a look and see where we are. And I'll decide if I want to add some like little mini icons up there. All right, guys, so I'm going to come back in and just add a little bit more blue to this like I told you I would do once it dries. Again, just to kind of build the color up a little bit more. And kind of mimic the other side. And then I'm going to put this back. And get this again. And because I've already washed my hands, I'm going to use my napkin to kind of dab this. So the key to get it opaque is to let it set slightly as you build the layers. So I'm gonna let that dry just a little bit and dab at it one more time, and then I think that'll be good. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more down here. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna let that dry and then we'll come back and take a final look. All right, everyone. So this is what my final spread is looking like for the 4th week of March. What do you think of my window into a Tuscan view? I really love the way that this turned out. Had a little bit of issues with a little bit too much of the ink, but again, I showed you how to correct that. Again, you know, things happen. I got a little bit heavy-handed with it and how to use some creative solutions for things that you might not necessarily think of using to kind of create fixes, like the liquid whiteout. I like kind of trying to use that as paint because it's opaque, it dries very quickly, and it doesn't warp the page as much as paint would, for example. Because originally I was like, oh, let me get my watercolors, and I thought, you know what, no, that's going to warp the page a little bit too much. So I really love this little peek inside of a Tuscan view, and it's very inspirational and makes me want to take a vacation. And again, if you want to, you can kind of tack these down, or you can keep them like this so that you can kind of open them as you write in your spread and kind of take a little extra little peek. All right, that's going to be it for me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.